Okay, now I have to look to see if I'm actually live. I guess I am live now. I am sorry to anybody that joined. Live chat. It was scheduling events for me, which was crazy. Just crazy. We're gonna have a shitty day. Although, you know, sometimes I get it right. Morning, Perry. Is that FNG is usually FKNG. What do I have in my freaking hair? Oh, hold on. I gotta get this. Don't ask me again. I'll add FNG to my list to look at. I had to restart for some reason. FNG for Joe. So I want to show you guys something. It's funny. I'm going to go to my Twitter. And there was somebody watching me last night. It was Eternal. And every ticker except EPAZ. And this is what's funny. So if you Google EPAZ and you look at this one, there is nothing other than a ChatGPT press release. And it wasn't even trading at a penny. So you look at this, and I looked at it, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird that it's trading like not even at a penny. 35,000 shares so far today. 15 million shares. That's kind of what and here's what you have to know, Brian. Let me get out of this. Retail sales, and I'll bring it up. Fucking new guy. No, come on. I hope there's a lot more new guys coming in, but there's a lot of people in this market who need to learn. I watched a video on scammers last night. In fact, I got one of my friends is a piano teacher, and she texted me last night. She's like, I think this is a scam. Can you help me? Guy said he was needed 3 students taught piano, and he needed to come to her house, and he was in leukemia treatment, so he was going to send his driver with his teenage kids. Kind of crazy. Hey, Justin. But yeah, this EPAZ one, here's what's funky. So I went to my tried and true, and I looked at this one, and I said, you're in this ascending triangle. Look at the volume. I mean, just that volume spike right there. And I went to FinViz, and I typed in EPAZ, and I said, okay, there's nothing in here. The stock's not covered. It's nothing. This is an absolute 100% micro cap. $5.6 million is what it's actually worth. I couldn't find the float, but it's traded in the past 10 days, 15 million shares. And I just couldn't find it. EPAS. But I did notice the Bed Bath & Beyond showed up on the scans there. Okay, we're going to do a market scan. And Rohan, if you're here, I got to keep allowing your comments. Morning, A. Paletti. Okay, we're going to do the core investments. When you curse, I got to allow them. I found out I can allow some mods in here or something too. So I've got to set all that crap up so that you guys can moderate instead of me watching it the whole time. But EPAS was nuts. I will tell you one that is in the core portfolio. And Rohan, I'm going to send you, if you're listening, I'll send you all this stuff. Roblox. In our core portfolio, finally over 40. It's up 20% this morning. Big earnings. Big earnings. The trading desk, too, which is one of my favorites to trade as well. Big earnings. And why is this scan taking so long? This shouldn't take this long. Let's look at our brokerage holdings. Oh, do I have to re-log in? Maybe I'll just re-log in. Log out. Let's log out and let's log back in. And we're going to go to the scanner. Scan. Boom. Core portfolio. It's not moving. But yeah, EPAS was moving. If we look at RBLX, move you over to Active Trader Pro. And look at after hours. Boom. Ironically, it really hasn't, taken off too much. This is ironic. Taiwan Semi. I still think this is a mover and a shaker. Buffett got out of Taiwan Semi. It's down 6% in pre-market. Devon Energy, I think Devon, Joe, maybe you were in on Devon. It's under 60. It's down 7%. But wow, the core portfolio, two cross-ups. Let me see if there's something in my... Snowflake is the only one in my brokerage names that crossed up. NXE. Right before earnings. Put in NXE. I am going to go down at record pace because I don't want to be on for like an hour and a half today. Levered ETFs, no. Low cost, no. Spider sectors. And I have to adjust this scan because Palantir crossed up. It's just two. Pinduo crossed up. I'll put in that one for all the China fans. JP Morgan crossed up. Datadog crossed up. BIIB, which is Biogen, but I don't like that one. Snowflake. Marriott crossed up on earnings, but we brought that up. TSM crossed up. Secondary cross up. Not own. That's my personal list. Let's look at ARC. Oh, that's my personal watch list, not ATAI. Boy, that could be an interesting one. No real catalyst. I think Devon, here's the thing. Macy's is one of my favorites to play. Let's see. With retail earnings up, Macy's March 1st. I'll bring this one up because you know what? It's one of my retail plays. I like it. And see, so here's what you can see. That MACD moving down and about to cross up with that RSI at 43. And the 9-day kind of coming in. It just crossed the 50-day. I usually like this one at 20. Honest to God, 20's been kind of the magic number. But you've got these gaps here all covered. This one down to 21 isn't covered. It was covered. Well, no, I'm sorry. It was covered on the way up. But Macy's a good one. Perry, Faro, Air, Toast. That is a restaurant business. Mobileye. Partner Communications. I don't like any of these to bring up. Those are kind of crazy charts. I don't like any of those. And if I don't know the name, I'm like, okay, how in the world can I actually talk about this stuff? Is Boeing's down at 218. JP Morgan we already have. Yep. So that's the only Dow Jones one that crossed up. Let's look at NASDAQ 100. There should be quite a few. Marriott, Datadog, BII, BIDXX. It's run too much. Analog Devices reported a good quarter. Macy's I like, and Brian, I mean, I had a great e-commerce experience with Macy's, so my assumption is others have too, and the only S&P 100. Okay, let's look at the energy sector. Man, energy, I have it in my notes. With Devon, Devon's problem is basically production. I mean, they've had some problems with, I thought it was priced in. Looks like it's not priced in. That's a crazy one. Well, it's bouncing off the 200-day with a low RSI. Let me see. They're not making money. They are very close, though. December 15th of 2020. So it hasn't been covered since 2020. Let's see what the insiders are doing. Sale at 14, sale at 12. Yeah, they've been selling up in this area. Not in this area. Let me see. I don't like Zacks. Let's see what you need to know. Let's see if Zacks actually tells me something. 9 Energy closed at 1092, marking on 1 point from the previous day. The move lagged the S&P's daily index. Coming into today, shares of the oilfield services company had lost 32%. Positivity from 9 Energy as it approaches next earnings. This is expected March 8th. And that report analysts expect to post 34 cents per share. This would mark year-over-year growth of 165%. Meanwhile, our latest consensus is calling for revenue of $166 million, up 58%. Investors should also note any recent changes to analyst estimate for 9 Energy service. These revisions typically reflect the latest short-term. Our research shows these estimates changes are directly correlated with near-term stock prices we developed. 8.22. It's industry, sports, and average 13. Not a bad one. That might be an interesting one. I'm going to put this one in. It's NINE. This one's interesting. Let me see. Senior notes. Huh. This one might be interesting. I'm going to add it in. Do a little bit of research, but I like the chart. I like that they have earnings coming up. I like that the MACD is down low here. You don't need much of a move to get your, back up here. But that move from the October lows is pretty big, and that 39 cents per share. It's going to be tough to post in there, but I like it. Okay. So we've done the scans. We'll move to the strategy tester. My dog, man, she got me up at 5 o'clock this morning. See, so there's 9 Energy at 11:02. And it's trading at 10.62. It's down 3%. Oil Energies is down. I mean, they're kind of pointing towards a recession now. Let me get in here and start the podcast on here. Let's look at some of the pre-market movers. The biggest mover is RNAZ. That's this one. Give me 1 second and I'll move it over to Active Trader Pro. RNAZ. 10-day volume is 1.7 million shares average. So far in pre-market, we've traded 13 million shares. Closed at 47 cents. It's now at 92. We will look at RNAZ to see the news. Let's see. Wow, it goes all the way back here. I mean, this chart is nuts. Morning, Larry. They're buying at $1.15. These guys are all buying. All last year, like $1.84. Not huge amounts. I mean, 51,000, 15,000, 20,000 shares at $1.15 by Robert Michael Dudley, who's the CEO. This one might have more room to run. I just don't know why it's up. I mean, this is from February 1st, and it was up 16%. I don't think that's it. I mean, if I had a shit ton of Tesla shares, there ain't no way I'm touching. Investor Day, he said, is not Investor Day. It's more an address to the world. They're shutting down the Shanghai plant for customization of a new and improved Model 3. They just showed off their Berlin. You have the Cybertruck coming up. I think you're going to get all good news. I think going into March 1st, you're going to get a crazy run in this stock. I mean, just honest to God, nothing's been able to take it down. Melanoma. It has been going nuts. Let's put in, I'm going to go over here, RNAZ. Let's put in RNAZ. It's broken this ascending triangle. You're out of it, but it's going to get you back in with confirmation because you're going to be up here at the open. John, man, I don't know if you've been listening long enough, but I have a friend who in 2018, January 2018, we both ordered Model 3s. He ordered a Model 3 Performance. I ordered a Model 3. He took his entire portfolio and put it in Tesla. Entire portfolio. He got delivered the Model 3, and he said, he basically said, I've never been more excited for something in my whole entire life. And he abides by, hey, if you use it, buy it. And so he wound up buying a lot of stock in Tesla, and it wasn't that much at that time. We're talking six figures, and in your late 40s, it's not crazy to have six figures net worth between retirement and brokerage and stuff like that. He's single with no kids, like me. So he wound up putting it all in Tesla. He retired last year with about 10, 15 million bucks in the bank. What a 4-year change. Going from working for the man to being debt-free. And I'm a believer. I don't believe that Tesla will do that more. They would have to, continue to just climb. I'm going to show you Tesla on a weekly basis because we go back probably to the IPO. This was right here. I got my car right here where the stock was at 20. If I had bought, $60,000 worth of stock, it would be worth $600,000 today. And yeah. So I don't know that you're going to 100 times in 4 years again, but I wouldn't put it past Tesla to double in 4 years and be a $400 stock again. Remember, this is December 2021. You're only, essentially 1 year away from $400. And yes, debt was free, but these guys ain't borrowing a ton of money. They're not paying down debt. He's opening up his chargers to the rest of the electric fleet. He's going to get a ton of money from the federal government for doing that. So, I honestly just don't see a problem, but shorts are out there. It's the most traded option stock on the market. So, okay, what am I let me get to my notes. I want my notes and I want them over here. And I'm going to go over here and what was this one? It was EPAC. Okay, and I want to start out with SPY. SPY, we still got confirmation, so I'll start it out. Here we go. It's 9:14. Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 15th. It's Doomsday. This is the day that a lot of people were pointing to where we start to go down. The news that we got was that retail sales were extremely strong. Up big, 2.3% versus a 0.9% expectation. Good news is bad news is good. Essentially, inflation went up, retail sales went up, economy strong, inflation stagnant. Fed's going to move to tighten. That's essentially what they're saying. And what the market might be saying if you see a down day. In our core portfolio, I'm seeing a lot of red. There's a few really, really good bright spots. like Roblox up 20% on strong earnings. Shopify up 3% prior to their earnings. Tesla is up. They're opening up their charger network to more electric vehicles. So there's some positive in here. Cleveland Cliffs is under 20. They just reported earnings. Boeing, if you got in earlier in the week, between 213 and 215, you're at 218. That's the weekly stock pick plays. And SPY. I'm looking at SPY on my screen right now. And you can see yesterday we got above the 9-day. So you've got confirmation here. So I don't want to say, hey, we're automatically going down. Today's the bad day. But you're kind of seeing, you're creating a volume shelf right here. Well, let's move this back to the August highs. And let's see where we're at. There is a volume shelf kind of being formed up here, but I would say the volume shelf really is around 4,000. And 4,000 would be a pretty good move, 12 points. But if you see the Qs, it's about the same thing. It's no different. You're just slightly above your 9-day. From the August highs, you're really seeing a volume shelf around 295. While it's being built up here, there's not a huge allotment of shelf, but there's some gaps above. So who knows where we're going? The problem is that there's a little bearish feeling in this market, but there's a lot of money on the sidelines. Earnings are coming down. It just means that essentially you got to pick your stocks. And a good point is yesterday. I posted the most active, and AMZN was one. And I posted this one on Twitter, and I got a tweet back about ChatGPT being implemented with AMZN. And you look at these two candles. This one candle, there's a 20% gain during the period. It opened at 73 cents. Its high was 77 cents. Its low was 46 cents. It closed at 58 cents, so you lost money. The next period, which is the afternoon, has a 15%. All of this only over just a press release. So the actual hype on AI is real. Another one that I got later was EPAZ. This is a penny stock. This is not one that I would say, hey, you got to go into this one. The morning candle, again, this was trading at, open 4.41 cents. Not 41 cents, 0.41 cents. So take a penny and cut it in half and then cut 10% off that. But the period is 51%. Because its high went all the way up to 0.8 cents. Not 8 cents, 0.8 cents. But it's 51%. Good luck in trading this one. The volume was crazy. EPAZ, let me see. EPAZ had a volume of 35,000 shares. So you're not trading much volume. Now, mind you, the 10-day volume, it's 35,000 right now. The 10-day volume is 15 million shares. So I couldn't even figure out how much of a float this one has, but I guarantee it's probably like 2 million shares. It's not a lot. There's no insider trading. There's nothing in this one. But it just shows you that there is hype rally out there. So there could be a pullback today and then another hype rally tomorrow. Oracle, talked about Oracle being one of my, and it had a cross up yesterday. $89 was the buy-in. This was a Josh Brown buy. And he said, listen, if you didn't read about it, Uber chose Oracle and Google as their cloud plays. When Travis was the CEO of Uber, he famously said, we're not going to do the cloud. We're going to have on-premise network equipment. And so all of their stuff now works on-premise. They are moving to the cloud. That is enormous. That is a huge, huge win for Google. That is a huge, huge win for Oracle. They didn't go with Amazon Web Services. They didn't go with Microsoft Azure. They went with Google and Oracle. This is how the new CEO of Oracle is managing the business. She's doing an amazing job. And Josh Brown went over it. He moved in. I think I'm probably going to start a position at $89. This is one where it's a boring technology play. It's not going to double to $160 anytime soon, but you'll be able to probably pull out a good 20% move in this one as long as they continue to retire shares. This is one that retires shares at a greater pace than many other technologies. So as far as earnings yesterday, Airbnb blew it out of the water. Airbnb is up 7% in pre-market to 130. This was one that I had talked about yesterday, and it just blew it out of the water. Their average nightly revenue was up. Everything was up. Travel boom. To go along with the travel boom, TripAdvisor is up 7% in pre-market. So if you have travel stocks, kudos to you. Great. If you have energy stocks, you're hurting today. The big one, Devon, yeah, sure, you get a 9% dividend, but they are down 7%. It is under 60. We had our buy at 63. Today it's at 58. What am I doing? I'm probably adding more. I'm going to take this chance to add more to my portfolio. I am not doing it until I have confirmation. I'm going to wait till this one opens. I'm going to see what the market says. Again, if this is the start of a down market and the recession, Devon will get hit. They brought the stock down. What they're saying is severe winter weather and Q1 production is going to be lower. They have some supply chain issues, some processing issues. So that's hitting the stock hard. Their ex-dividend date is later in the month. I think it might be March. But I'm holding this one for long. I'm holding my core portfolio on it. I am not trimming. I am just looking to add more. I do think that the asset value is fantastic on this one. Again, under 60, I buy it. Over 60, I'll look to sell it. I haven't sold it yet. Upstart had their earnings, and they are up 7% in pre-market. So I got it completely opposite. I said Upstart, they could announce something. They are moving up 7%. I think this one's a dead stock. I think it's just popping on some news like the earnings, some of their guidance. I can't say that I would buy this one. There's a couple of things on Tesla that I wanted to go over. And the first one is Ford. Ford announced that they are halting the production of the F-150 Lightning because of a battery issue. This is, GM has battery issues. Ford has battery issues. Volkswagen has battery issues. There are tons and tons of these established EV makers and car manufacturers that are having battery issues. You know who doesn't have battery issues is Tesla. Tesla's got the full self-driving and they're taking on Elon and blah, 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 and you've had the problem. But they haven't had battery issues. And what's the biggest cost of an electric vehicle? It's the battery. Again, what are you buying an electric vehicle for? It's the battery that you're buying it for. So Ford having to halt this, again, the hype play is real. They just passed their ex-dividend date. Their earnings are passed. I would say if this one dips down into the 11s, I think you could pick this one up at 11. It's trading down 1% at 12.84. I just think that there's more bad news coming. Jim Farley, their CEO, was all over the TV yesterday, blah, 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 blah. Tesla, on the other hand, is up. I think it's up in pre-market. They announced that they will open up their network to other EV cars. They're going to take advantage of the Biden administration basically giving them money. These are guys that even in a rising rates environment, they don't need to actually borrow money anymore. Their balance sheet is in line. I think you're looking at this 250 gap being more in play than the one under the 200-day at 154. Again, this market is crazy. I don't want to say that, hey, it's February 15th and you should go all in. because this was a day that a lot of chartists and the analysts were saying, hey, this may be the stop of the run. But you are seeing that 9-day and the 21-day crossed up on that 200-day. The 50-day is moving positive. That 200-day is starting to turn a little bit. If we start to turn to a bull market, this one could easily go back to 300. And I do think that retail traders could push this to 300. When you look at it, this one is the most traded options play. It's even, being more than the Qs, more than SPY. I mean, it's just crazy. My algorithm, which had a buy-in here at 119, over 1,000 candles, which is 2 years, makes you 39%, whereas you're down 23% if you just bought and held. So at that 119 price point, absolutely I should have bought more. Instead, I sold down here. Tax loss harvesting. So I was I didn't sell for, I sold for a pretty big gain, but it was to balance out some of my losses. So I didn't pay taxes on it. It was a pretty good gain, but I am not holding Tesla today. Should have bought back in. Should have absolutely 100% bought back in. CRDO, which was a fairly good retail trading opportunity from what I saw from a lot of the retail traders. This one, the cross up was 1278. Something happened. I didn't see exactly what happened, but this one is down 44% to $10 in the pre-market. I think what happened, and let me see if there's any news on this one. Downgrade 18, outperformance, CRDO stock sell off for the day after a record close. Largest customer cuts demand. Largest customer cuts demand. You can read this if you just go to FinViz. But again, any reaction in the market is an overreaction. This is what's crazy. This one year to date was up 45%. Over 1 year, you were up 26%. They are not making money. Their forward PE was 47. So when they're not making money and their largest customer cuts, guess what happens to a stock like that in a rising rates environment? Boom! You are suddenly poisoned. But CRDO had that. We talked about Roblox. Roblox blew it out of the park with their earnings. They are opening up 18% up, 42. I would not be buying this one at 42. I would be waiting for this one to come back under the 200-day, and it will. It will. Absolutely, it will. 42 is not a crazy price for this one, where it was trading, I think, at 100 or so. And you're looking at this gap that's back here between 59 and 69. If we continue to fly and their earnings are that good, I mean, you could see this gap getting filled. I just can't imagine a company that's not making money, that is in the metaverse like this. They are the biggest draw of the metaverse, specifically since Facebook basically waved the white flag. But Roblox, again, I would wait for it for under that 200-day. The trading desk is up 16% in pre-market. Crazy move. This is one that inserts advertising on streaming video. They made 38 cents per share. That is up from 26 cents per share. Probably good guidance. I know I don't even watch live TV anymore. I stream the Super Bowl instead of watching it on live TV. It was just a better picture than what DirecTV gave me on streaming. Just a better picture quality. So you do have this gap up here. You covered this gap down below at 49. I'll add this to one of the lists that I want to look at, because I do think the trading desk, a family friend was the ex-CFO. I think he's CEO of Expedia right now. But listen, it's a great company. I do think that once the streaming gets in play and advertising starts coming, these guys just make it simple. So the trading desk announced GOGLD, Barrick Gold Corporation, had their earnings. Boy, they're down 2.86%. I don't know anything about the earnings. This got you out with a 17% gain, and you've been in the slide ever since. That was back on February 3rd. where I think a lot of people were saying, hey, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. Well, Barrick Gold hasn't been buy gold. Generac, GNRC. This is one that in pre-market, they are up 2.6%. They announced their earnings after the market, $1.78, right kind of in line. I've been talking with a couple of people about this one. It has been in an absolute, it was the worst stock of last year. And if we look at this weekly, this is a weekly, and you look at this October 2021, people started putting generators in their house because we were getting ready for the apocalypse. And a lot of that was brought forward. This was trading at $400. You're at $131 right now. When you go and look at FinViz, and I'd urge you before you invest in this, go and look at FinViz. This is an industrial, specialty industry machinery. Year to date, they're up 24%, but 1 year you're down 54%. Remember, when you're down 50%, it takes 100% gain to get back. Percentage up isn't the same as the percentage down. It takes 100% to get back a 50% loss. So they're up 24% this year. That's not even close to 100% down there. But they did announce earnings, $1.78 versus $1.75. You can see a lot of this. The demand has just been slowing. I mean, 251, 209. The inflation has been hitting. In my mind, you're heading towards the summer. You're heading towards peak blackout periods. Generac might be a pretty good play for one of those. Sunoco announced earnings, and they are up 0.45% as we open up. 42 cents per share. It's kind of flat. Nothing huge. Let's talk about after hours. We got Shopify. This one is up 1.18%. I completely expect this one. It's hard to say that they're going to go up. But if you look at the ones that have not been making money, if they show even some sign of goodness, this one could be cash flow positive. They raised their prices. They didn't see fall off. They announced that. So you shouldn't see that. Your MACD is kind of coming down. Meanwhile, your price hasn't come down a bunch. You're at $50.83. Just back on February 3rd, you were at $55. So you're talking about, a 10% move that was of recent. And if they announce something good, boom. So Shopify, I think, is good. The other one that I think might be actually a huge surprise is Roku. Roku is a Kathy Woods favorite. She's been buying it on the way down. We just got out with a 38% gain. You could have had a 50% gain. 39.58. You're trading at 59. Now, if we go back and we look at just so you know, the algorithm loses you 70%. Buying and holding this stock loses you 88%. So the algorithm does overperform on this one. But if you look at a weekly of this one, this was a $450 stock up to $478. 483, I think, was the 52-week high. But it slid. It's down at 59. Now, I still don't think it's making money. Let's go to FinViz. No, it ain't making money. Performance year to date, 39%, but you're down 65% over 1 year. So they have $14.47 cash on hand. Their book value is $20. This one, with trading desk going up, this one could be a big surprise. So I would watch Roku. And I would absolutely, I might put some money in Roku and Shopify. The other one that is reporting that I really, really like is Cisco. Cisco has seen a little bit of a pullback of recent. You do have a buy, 47.79 from yesterday. And their earnings are today. So it's kind of been clamoring here. I wouldn't expect this to go to 50 on a huge earnings beat. I would just expect, you can put it in, get a decent dividend. It's probably not a bad entry point. But wait to see. Energy Transfer, has a buy-in at 1309. They report after the bell as well. ET is the symbol. You do have this gap up here all the way up to 1324. This is an energy company. Probably worth a little bit. Their energy companies, other than Devon, have been doing really well. Another energy company is Marathon Oil, MRO. This one, you just got in at 27.53 and you're trading at 26. I'll be right back. Oh, sorry about that. Nike. What's Nike doing? Let's see. Not huge. Looks like they opened up at about 124.90. It's at 125. I don't see Nike as plummeting. Okay. I might get back into this. Marathon Oil. Sorry, I had to take a little break. Marathon Oil. This is one again, an energy company. It's kind of opening up down here at 26.21. It's got a red candle. It's down. MACD is kind of in neutral place. The RSI is moving down. You got a gap down here at about 22, which is in play just because you're below that 200-day. But good earnings. You could see a big move on this one. Lithium play, Albemarle, ALB is the symbol. Can never say the name. This one, we had a get out with a 23% gain. You've got your MACD kind of right on the oscillator right there. Your RSI is in no man's land. It's a coin flip. You do have a gap up here between 301 and 310, which on a amazing earnings level, probably in play. I mean, again, if they're going to blow it out of water. EQT, another, this is a natural gas company. What are they going to announce? I mean, this is probably the roll of the dice that is the biggest roll of the dice, just because you've got this gap up here. You got the 200-day moving down. Natural gas is going nowhere. Now, I will say, I do have a note. Mark Newton of Fundstrat said he thinks natural gas has bottomed. This could be the start of, again, natural gas, February 15th. Boom. The algorithm on this one, you're still up 66%. I mean, if we just look at this one, this has gone just parabolic of late. So you can see that's COVID right there. And then this is the Ukrainian war last year that drove it up. The warm winter, storage, it's just lost its way. Do I think that it's gone down enough? I don't know. I mean, I kind of see this support down here at the 200-day. That white line right there is the VWAP. It's right at 22. So I think that one's just, hey, if they're gonna see increased volumes or they give some guidance that they're going up, boom, I think. But that long-term chart just looks bad. QuantumScape is reporting. You just got out of a 50% gain on this one. You could have probably gotten out at about 10, which is almost 100% gain. But it got you out with a 50% gain. You're at $9.08. They're reporting. Do your research on that one. Find out. They're not making money. This is a solid-state battery company, QuantumScape, and they are producing batteries to go into EVs. Could be an interesting one. I look at this one. The chief development officer is selling at $851, selling at $760. It's not a lot of money, but it's at least something. The last big sale was Salju Depender, who sold on September 16th at $11.33. You're trading right now at $9. So $11 is probably your price target, even on a bump up, I would say. Fastly, we talked about, this is a software company. They are reporting they just had a cross up yesterday, and they had a big move yesterday. 12.25 was the buy-in yesterday. 13.71 is where you're trading right now. I wouldn't touch this one. It's kind of moved up a little too quickly for me into earnings, but I like it. Zillow Group, this is where you go if you're buying a house. They got an upgrade yesterday. You're just getting out of a 37% run on the algorithm here. The MACD is kind of close to the oscillator. It's moving back up. You do have some confirmation. Any news on the real estate market will move this stock. I actually like it. I mean, honest to God, I like it. The problem that you have is just the real estate sector. I think it's moved. Look at that move from December to February. I mean, it's above its 200-day now on a daily chart. That's a little hard. Now, you do have a gap here between 75 and 83. That could be here's what I know about Zillow Group. And this is what's interesting about Zillow Group. I think that if you remember last year, they went into cost-cutting mode pretty heavily. They were investing in some houses to rehab and to resell, and they basically lost money on it. But a lot of that has been taken out of this stock. So I think it's an interesting play. Am I putting money into it? I don't think so right now, but I may think about it just because 38 cents per share. If they come in with something closer to 40, I think you've got a pretty big move in this stock to come up and at least cover this gap. Now, this gap has been covered for the most part, but at 50. I don't think 50 is out of the question if they announce something big. Berkshire B announced they are out completely, at least the majority, if not completely, of Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM. That has caused this stock to move down 4.69%, back down to 93. I said this gap here between 81 and 84 is in play. I think it's still in play. I do think that gap comes back into play. You just got to be patient. Buying up here, you're not being patient. God, I've wanted to buy up here, but I have not gotten into this one. Berkshire Hathaway also cut U.S. Bancorp. They cut by 90%. This one hasn't been hit as hard. It's only down 0.33%, but they cut their stake. They got out of MCK, McKesson. They cut it by 11%. So they didn't get out completely. It's down 0.04%. Not crazy. They also cut 10% from Ally Bank. ALLY is the symbol. They cut 10%, and that's down just about 0.5%, 0.64. So it's not a huge move. But what did they do? They upped their stake in Apple. They're just a huge, huge shareholder of Apple. Billions of dollars in dividend payments every quarter. Billions of dollars in quarter. They also increased their stake in Paramount Global, PARA. This one is up 2.54%. It's up at 23. I think you could see 25 in this one again. They have earnings coming up, it looks like today after the bell. Let me see, or is it before? February 16th, so tomorrow before the bell. I think that's an interesting one. Farmer Jim Lebenthal likes that one. And he also, by the way, said he likes Shitty Bank, our favorite Shitty Bank, for the rest of the year. It's had a big move, but he says it's got more of a move in it. Citadel took a 5.5% stake in Silvergate, SI Capital. We talked about Silvergate having this crazy short squeeze. And it moving quite a bit on the short squeeze from this 14 mark down here all the way up to 22. It hasn't made that move again, but you can see it's got confirmation above here. You can see that huge volume spike and these two volume spikes right here. And that might be Citadel taking 5.5% stake. Michael Burry pulled a Bill Ackerman. If you remember during the pandemic, Bill Ackerman said hell is coming. And he basically went on, and then it was found out that he was short a lot of stocks during the pandemic, that he had, I don't want to say manipulated the market, but he definitely came on and positioned himself that he had sold everything, that he was completely out of the market, and that he just said, hey, there's no reason to be in here. He was short the market. He wanted the market to move down. That's what that does. Michael Burry, 2 weeks ago, put sell and deletes the tweet. He's been bearish. Well, what did he do? He got into 7 positions, 7 new positions. First one, BABA. He's been buying BABA, a ton of BABA. And this one, he's been rewarded. I mean, you can see this step up. Now, I do think that this gap down here between 92 and 96, it's in play because it's just on a downward slide. You're out of this one. The algorithm doesn't have you in. Their earnings are coming up February 22nd. There's some question as to, is China moving as fast as they can, blah, blah, blah. Another China stock that he got into, JD.com. This one is one that he's been rewarded as well because he probably got in during November and December. But it's on the downward slide as well. I wouldn't buy into this one. Their earnings are coming up March 8th. He got into MGM. This is a betting, and he's been rewarded on this one. I mean, this one has just been a monster. You've got a gap here after their earnings between 41 and 43.50. You're trading at 44 right now. I wouldn't get into this one, but put it on a list. SkyM, which is SkyMax. I don't know what it is, but SkyM, CORHR, which is Coherent Corporation. I have no idea what these guys do, but you can see he's made his money. Now, the algorithm has you out on this one, but you do have confirmation. They just had their earnings. Let's see what they are. COHR. I don't even know what they are. Coherent. Technology, science, and technical. Let's move down. Develops, manufactures, and markets engineered materials, optoelectronics components, and devices worldwide. It operates in 2 segments. Semiconductors. That's what this is. Interesting. BKI, which is Black Knight Inc. Never heard of it. But I just wanted to put on, you got this gap down here. It's kind of an ugly chart, but they do have their earnings coming up. This is probably one of those defense things or something. And WWW is the final one. Wolverine Worldwide. God, X-Men. If this isn't Doom is coming, I don't know what is. His earnings are coming up on February 21st. He got out with a 42% gain. Again, those are the ones. He did sell out of completely. Charter Communications, he sold completely out of. Again, he's got good move. Maybe this was where he sold out of it on, and it just continued to drop. Maybe he sold out of it there. AJRD is one that he sold out of. I don't know anybody who's in this one. It's kind of an obscure one. Aerojet Rockdyne Holdings. I don't hold it. It's been in ascending triangle, blah, blah, blah. Lilac, L-I-L-A-K, which is Liberty Latin America. It's been in a slide. You're out of it, blah, blah, blah. CXW, which is Core Civic. So he got out of those. He also sold 50%, not completely out of, but he sold 50% of his Geo group. Now, what's interesting is, Michael Burry is not completely out of the market like he was saying he was. But he did sell out 50% of his, and they just had their earnings, and they basically dropped. Geo Group Company, it's a REIT. So he sold 50% of that. Interesting. Now, retail sales, like I said, was up 2.3% versus 0.9%. My favorite retail, I said buy Lulu under 300, but Macy's, I continue to say, I think at around 20. It's putting in this floor at 22. The question is their earnings that are coming up on March 1st. I like this company. I really do. The gap here has been covered. The gap down here has been covered on the way up as well. So the only gap that's not really been covered is this one down here between 16 and 1650. I don't know that you're getting to cover that one. You're in a positive momentum. If we look at a weekly on this one, and we just look at a weekly, you can see you're above the 200-day. The last time you were below the 200-day was September, where it was the lows. I think you could see 30 in this one if we have a really good guidance. Who knows? But I do like that one along with retail sales. And you know what other one I like with retail sales is Costco. I mean, Costco is up 0.1%. I missed this one at 450. We got down to 448, I think, right here. 447.90 on January 3rd. Should have bought. You're at 503. You ran all the way up to 530. 503 isn't bad. I continue to say under 500, you should just buy it. Just buy it and hold it. It's a great retail company. Now, cross-ups. Warren Buffett got out of Taiwan Semi after he announced that he was getting in. Very quick, but it's a secondary cross-up. This 74.29 buy on December 30th is still you're still in that one. But this is a secondary cross-up. The MACD, it crossed up, probably crossed right back down. Yep, crossed right back down. Doesn't have an entry point just because it's a secondary cross-up and you're still in this one. The moving averages are such that you might come down and you might get out of this one finally. I still think this gap, like I said, between 81, 88, and 84, I think that one gets covered, so just be patient. We covered Snowflake for Rohan yesterday, and Snowflake, it had a secondary cross-up again. You're in at 135. You're at 171. Their earnings are coming up on March 1st. And God, with all of these companies that are killing it, Roblox, blah, 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 and all of the companies that are killing it, Snowflake might be a buy right here. I may add to my position. I'm in at an average price around 180, and it's getting up to that point again. I could look at it again. NextGen Energy, NXE, you had a cross up here at $4.76. Their earnings are coming up on February 28th. It's an interesting one because you're just above the 9-day. I think you could get back here to the 5s. So again, a good earnings report. It's a little ways out, February 28th, but your MACD is kind of crossing up on the oscillator at 476. The 200-day is moving positive. The 50-day is moving positive. The 9 and the 21 are moving positive. It's a pretty good chart. I like this one. PDD, which is a China stock, crossed up. Pinduoduo. This one, it's PDD Holdings is what it's called. 95.88. PDD Holdings. 95.89. We're trading at 93.34, so you're below that. You are below the 9-day. So I would be a little bit worried that this gap here down to 85 comes into play. You have had this crazy run all the way from October where you were at 54 and you pretty much doubled up to 100. So you have had quite a run. I'd be a little bit worried about that one, but PDD is the symbol. One of the Dow 30, whatever. JP Morgan had a cross up. It's a secondary cross up. Your initial cross up was here January 26th at 139. You've had a crazy good run all the way since October at 109. You're at 142 today. It's got confirmation. Again, the banks that I would recommend, I think Citigroup is probably your biggest rebound just because of the actual value. If you want to look at these, you look at Citigroup, and their PE is 7. They pay a 3.95% dividend. They're up 13% this year. Bank of America, their PE is 11. So it's higher. Year to date, they're only up 6%. They have a 2.4% dividend. I personally own Wells Fargo. They have a 15 PE. Their dividend is 2.47. They are up 16% year to date. So I think Citigroup offers you a good opportunity to get into a bank that has a low PE, a good dividend, and has an opportunity to move higher. But JP Morgan had the cross up, and we can look at JP Morgan versus a 7 or 11 PE. JP Morgan has an 11. It's on the higher end. You do have a 2.79. Year to date, you're up 6%. But it did have a secondary cross up. It's just been on a great run. I would just be careful. The 52-week high is 156, so you're only 8% off that. Datadog had a cross up. DDOG had a cross up. And this one is a secondary cross up. You're still in this January 11th. Buy at 69.03. You're at 88. The gaps have been covered. Nothing really that would concern me. Their earnings are coming up today after the bell. Or I'm sorry, tomorrow before the bell. So it's an interesting one. One that I found in the energy sector that I was kind of going over up on YouTube with the chart is Nine Energy, NINE. This is an interesting one because their earnings are coming up on March 7th. You have the MACD fairly low. The RSI is coming off of 26 here, where you were trading at about 10. You had this cross up at 11.03. You're down 6% today. And that's probably just the energy sector overall and Devon Energies, because they do seem to trade similarly to Devon. But you're kind of using, my guess is you will use this 200-day as a support level. There's a volume shelf right there. If I just bring this over to recent highs, it's probably even a bigger one here. Yeah, you can see this volume shelf up here at 13. You're trading at $10.33. Now, the buy-in is 11.02. So it's interesting that the MACD is moving down at 35. The RSI is at 35, and that MACD crossed up. I may wait another couple of candles, but this one definitely piqued my interest. I went on to FinViz, and I was looking, and they're not making money. Mind you, they're not making money. The forward PE is 8.23. Year to date, they're down 26%. Now, there hasn't been a coverage since 2020. So these monkey things are just it's just nonsense. Read a couple of these articles if you want to know a little bit more. They operate an onshore completion services provider that targets unconventional gas and gas resource development across North America, basins, and internationally. Probably hurt by a lot of the natural gas stuff. But I looked at these sales at 14, sales at 12, sales at 10, sales at 9, and all of these kind of sales. The biggest values are at 12 and 14. So in my mind, I think they're saying, hey, it's probably overvalued here at 12 and 14. That was December and January, and they're $3 million and $1 million. I might take a chance on this one. Might be worth buying at 10 and riding it to 12 or 13. Again, that's 30% gain on this one. But it's an interesting chart. I found it. I like it. Might be something to look at. I've given you a lot of ideas. I do think Shopify. I think Roku. I think Marathon Oil. I think Albemarle. ALB. QuantumScape. Zillow Group. A lot of ideas here. Apple. I went over the 5 that I would hold yesterday for long, and I'm seeing a little bit more green. Apple is green. MPLX is green. PanW is green. Roblox, of course, up even higher. God, 25%. It's almost at 45. Shopify is green. Target is green. So if you have any questions, hit me up. If you made it this far, just rate the podcast. Go up there, hit 5 stars. If you did make it this far too, go over to YouTube and hit subscribe. I could use more subscribers over there, so subscribe. I've got to do something about keywords or something. I don't know. Get more subscribers. Maybe I just have to produce more videos. I'm just horrible at that stuff. I'm lazy. Boyle. Let me go over Boyle real quick, since I did read that Mark Newton of Fundstrat said natural gas may have bottomed. You're seeing, at least I'm seeing, I mean, look at this chart. We may have bottomed. Now, this is just February, but I think you're putting in some type of bottom here. Now, the question is, those Bollinger Bands are cinching up right there. This is a 4-hour chart. If we look at the daily, you'll probably see something similar. You're even seeing it's not quite cinching up, but the 4 hours quicker, and it's quicker to see it. You're still below the 9-day, so you still, on a daily basis, don't have confirmation here that you're going higher. Right now, it is down 5% at 625. I continue to say, grab it under $6. I think you'll be happy if you get this one under $6. You can clearly see that the volume is moving up. There's a volume downward trend here. This could drive it up. The RSI is at 33. The long term, if we go to a weekly, I've still got this chart up. You can see we're down at the bottom of this end. The very bottom would be about $3, maybe $4 right now. But if we continue to downtrend, you can see us getting down to 2 down in this area. Again, if you're on the bottom of this. On a 9-day, you're not getting confirmation anytime soon on this one. You would have to see natural gas shoot up significantly to be able to do this. It's a triple levered ETF. Do not hold this one for more than a day or so. It is not investing in natural gas. It is natural gas futures, so it has zero value. This is not something that will absolutely 100% make you money. It's a decaying asset. But I wanted to bring it up because I do think that you could trade this one and KOLD very well. The other ones that if you wanted to trade energy, are UCO and SCO. UCO is the bull, SCO is the bear. So UCO is the up, SCO is the down. UCO had a buy-in here at 28.79. You're at 28.60. You got up to about 30. I think the high was about 30.21. Again, you want to take your 10% out of these things. Once you make 10%, in my mind, at least my trading style, I take the 10% and I move on. If I see an extended run, I'll show you an extended run. We can look at KOLD. If I see something like this that has so much validation where you're just above that 9-day, I don't get out. Once you hit that 9-day, I get out. But once you hit above that 9-day, I would get back in just because this move is so strong. You've got the button hook happening here on the 4-hour. I think you move this one from 57, maybe down to 28. It's just moved too much. So Boyle could be having a bottom. Mark Newton might be right. So there you go. The last 5 minutes is on energy. If you have any questions, hit me up. Again, subscribe to YouTube. I'll go over maybe on Friday how I see you using this podcast, using the private Facebook group, using the YouTube channel, how to use all of this stuff to actually make sense, to learn. I know I get a lot of messages that I've taught people about investing, taught people about value, understanding what a stock actually is, understanding that there are ETFs out there that you can use for the up and down purposes. There's no reason not to invest these days. Again, to understand this stuff, it's a tool that you'll use for a lifetime. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Take care. See you tomorrow. Okay. Share. Export song to disk. Boy, I went over a shit ton of notes on there. I don't think I gave anybody incredible value, but God, I like Zillow. Okay. John, man, 2019. Great trade on Tesla in 2019. Zillow Group is interesting me. Brian, I think I looked at Nike for you. Let's go over to Active Trader Pro. There's Nike. There's Nike. Nike's at 125. Tesla's 14-day RSI broke below the 70 level. Are we having a button hook in Tesla? AMD's line crossed below the signal line. We're having a little crash in Tesla. Look at that. Tesla's getting a little less love. Huh. Pale Eddie, what'd you get buying Jackson? So we'll go back to Safari. Here's my take on Devon. I'm adding to it, but I'm probably not adding today. So the algorithm got you in at 63.23 right here. And you're looking at this candle right here. It's starting to even break down more at 56. You can see the volume popping up. I mean, this is just, in my mind, any reaction is an overreaction. I don't think that you buy thinking that in the next month or two, you're soaring. I don't see that at all. I see this 50, probably around here, 55, being a pretty good. If you get to 55 today, I mean, it's down 11%. I just think that's an overreaction. Now, when we look at a long term, 55 is fairly expensive still. I mean, this is a weekly, so you still have room to go down here to the July lows of 48, which again is fairly expensive. If you look at Devon down here, they have a 6 PE. Energy companies, you want to be around 5. So it's not crazy, but you got an 8% dividend. Do I think that you're losing? Here's the way I kind of view it. If I buy in and my average price is around $55, which probably is about right, if I buy more, and my average price is around 55, am I losing my capital? Are we going back down to 35, which was December 2021, when China was completely shut down, when the world was dealing with, this was where oil, June 2022, oil was at, $110, $120 a barrel at this point, at 73. I think you trade around that $60 price point. And I think at 56, I think you actually add into it. Joe, I don't know that Tesla's done, but we're definitely seeing a little pullback in the short term. The Active Trader Pro is a short-term 5-minute chart, and you're seeing a button hook. But you can still see, even with a loss today, we'd still be above the 9-day. So I continue to think that this 255 is more in play than the 150. But look Look at the long term of this one. You've just gotten above the 200-day at 173. The 50-day is moving down. It just started to move down. You could have a death cross here coming. The last time you crossed the 50-day cross down was August 2019 when the company was going bankrupt. So, but Devon, I'm not selling. And the reason I'm not selling is I want that dividend. I don't think that I should get out. It's an interesting one because I think I own part of it in my retirement account. And I almost got out at 60 in my retirement account this morning. But then I was like, I'll just hold it. I'll collect the dividend. And if you want to read about the earnings, by the way, and how bad they were bad. They were real bad. Let's Yahoo Finance may have a good kind of overview. Let me quit my why is this not going over here? Oh, let's see. Airbnb, there we go. TripAdvisor, Devon Energy Share Company announced it sees 2023 capital expenditures reaching $3.6 billion to $3.8 billion. We're expecting CapEx about $3.42. So they're going to spend about $200 million, $300 million more in CapEx. The company's fourth quarter earnings per share, $1.66, came in below expectations of $1.76. Devon shares declined. They're spending more money. They're spending more money and they're earning less. I mean, it's the kiss of death. But I think it's a well-run company. I don't think it's anything to necessarily freak out about. Remember, Devon also has exposure to natural gas. They have oil and natural gas. So if natural gas is going up, boom, Devon's going to go up. But they just got, again, they got hurt by natural gas prices. They got hurt by $70 oil prices. And they're spending more money. So I think if you get a 5.5 handle on it today, I think you can pull the trigger and buy more like I'll probably do. Again, 8% dividend on an S&P 500 company. I think that's a pretty good trade-off because I'm only getting 4% in my savings account. But again, remember, and I know I keep saying this, you go to that long term. I do have a long-term interest in this. You go to that long term, and it's below the 50-day. It was using the 50-day as its support level. It's been below there since December, which is where the price has just kind of peaked. That 50 days kind of tailing over a little bit. You could get to this 45 shelf level because there's not a whole hell of a lot. If we pull this up, let's pull it up to the highs here. May 2022. And let's see where those levels are. See this volume shelf right here at about 59? I mean, we've broken through that. If we close below that, might be a little bit concerned, but not hugely. Again, this is only pulled to May 2022, so just about a year. Most people seem to be holding in this 60 range. That's why I think, that I can probably hold on to it for a little bit. Why is my GarageBand frozen? Hold on, I had to close everything down. 215, okay. Put up that, put up OBS, we'll put up this. There we go. I have to reload that. I'm going to move you over to Active Trader Pro while I work on this chart a little bit. I just have a long-term view on that one that I think energy prices are good this year. Am I upset about losing from 65 down? Yeah. Morning, Zephin. I'm not happy about it, but I'll take the 8% dividend while I wait. They didn't up the dividend. They didn't do what Chevron and Exxon did. But today is supposed D-Day. So maybe it's just D-Day for Devon. Elmore Heights. I like that one. We'll move that one in there. Insert, add, processing.
You are not
God.
his father.
Oh, man. 5 years in prison.
Do you know?
Yes, ma'am.
You know who his father is.
Yes, I talk to him still.
Whoa.
You spent 5 years in prison
Jesus.
for failing to pay child support for the defendant, Miss Sears
Oh.
Dillon.
That's right.
Mr. Manser, you are
Oh my
not
God.
Oh, God.
his father.
Oh, I'm gonna retweet this. Wow. Holy crap. I just posted a tweet. I'll look at those. Okay, let me save this episode. Let me upload this, Zeph, and I'll take a look at CRK and Arch. China ain't open up quick. And that's what's killing energy. I think. Uh, 2:15:23. You and James, man, you guys are the dynamic duo here. Of hey, let's gamble. Do notes. I'm gonna look at those two for you, Zephin. And then I'm gonna put in my notes here. I sold. I just oof. I've got so many notes. Let's see if this will fit. It does. Wow. Interesting. I'm gonna do RBLX, TTD, AMST, Devon, AB&B, Shop, Roku, Cisco, 9, CRDO. Okay. And we'll. Oh. Zillow Group. I think Zillow Group is a good play. Engage with listeners. I don't need a poll. Publish now. Boom. And I think I'm going to wait until that publishes on Spotify and share it from Spotify. Okay. Let's look at CRK. Well, Brian, in my mind right now, Tesla, let's run the 4 hour on Tesla. The 4 hour says 119. So if you get it at 119, if I run my short-term algorithm on Tesla, 60. This is a 65 minute. This is a crazy. This is nuts. So this is what's crazy. This was developed by David Yoakum, which is YOCUM charting, Yoakum's charting on Twitter. It's an algorithm that he developed on the video that he and I did about TrendSpider. Go to my YouTube channel and just look at the latest video that's published about how to use TrendSpider to become a better trader and stuff. And so for Tesla, we'll look at Safari. This is the algorithm. And the algorithm has you in at 262. And that was on yesterday at 10:35. This is on 65-minute candles. This performance, let me just tell you the performance. Over 5 years, 7,000 candles. You make 4,566%. The asset makes you 780%. So you have 37% are wins. Your average win is only 4.48%. But you can see it gets you in and out multiple times per day. You can but on TrendSpider, what's great about it is you can set up alerts. Now, what's crazy is here, this gap right here between 154 and 146, it's the same gap that I've been pointing to on the 4 hour. That down below here, 146 to 153, that gap right there. Now, what's ironic is you have this gap up here, 257. So if you were to ask me what's a good price point, I am not buying right now. My price point is down near this gap. But I'm being patient. Now, being patient in Tesla means I've missed out. So, yeah. Primus Bank for 5% interest on a checking account. Ooh, wow, that's great. James, okay, Zephin, let me look at CRK. This is Comstock. Oof. Man, they had their earnings yesterday, Zephin. I know this candle looks big, but it's only 0.79%. It's not that big. Its high is 13.29. Its low is 11.78. So it's not even 1%. Or wait. That is a big move. Hold on. I'm going to Active Trader Pro. Zephin, where'd you get in on this one? Did you get in before earnings? Because it's been moving now. I mean, you went all the way. It opened up down at near 12. It went down to 11.78. It's at 12.59. I mean, it's moving. It's moving a lot. Let's see about Arch. You should be good. I mean, February 8th, the algorithm I mean, the algorithm's doing well. If you're at 1280 and you bought in at this $11 price point, you're doing well on that one. Here, look at Active Trader Pro. I mean, it ran up yesterday or this morning before open. It ran all the way up to 1350. That would be kind of, I think if you, I mean, those Bollinger Bands are huge. I mean, it just crashed. It just 100% crashed on open. Look at that volume spike on open. People just started selling. Now you're getting the MACD crossing up right here. You can't see my cursor, but this middle one is the MACD, and you can see it crossing up. And then you got the RSI coming up. Right now it's at 47 in no man's land. Shit, I'd wait for a 13 handle on that one. That would be my take on it because you can see. I mean, if we just draw a channel here, and CRK, the natural gas one. Let me see, CRK. Engaged in acquisition, exploration, and production of oil and natural gas. Yeah, it's a small cap. I mean, it's a small cap. It's earnings weren't, I mean, it's $1.05, so earnings weren't like crazy good, I mean. But if you take this and you go from the bottom of this candle, which is the high, and you kind of cross 3 points, really kind of move towards that, and then you say, I mean, that's the problem, is trying to find 3 points there. I mean, that's where you're looking here. That's kind of the channel that I'm seeing, and at 1249, you're on the very high end of that channel. What's their dividend? It's a 4% dividend, so you get about 1% for hanging on till February 28th. That's a little funky, but man, I'm hanging on to Devon, so I can't beat you up over it if you guys believe in it. Have at it. Let's look at Arch. I think that's the coal play, if I'm not mistaken, that Tom had mentioned. Their earnings are coming up. Is it today after the bell? Pre-market tomorrow. You have this gap up here. You're kind of just playing. I mean, it's between 135 and 156. Let's see what Arch says. Arch, you got a 0.69. It's a 2 PE. February 10th, everyone sold at 141.08. What are you trading at? 143? I'd be worried. I mean, it's not a huge sale, but these guys are selling, $30,000, $40,000 worth. Again, it's not huge, so I don't know that it makes a whole hell of a lot of difference, but they're selling at 141 on February 10th. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in the C-suite who seem to think that 141 is a good price to sell at. In October, you had 136, where 1, 2, 3, 4 people thought it was a good time to sell at. Let's look, October 13th. That was probably right before, that was right before this earnings, before the blackout on this one. I mean, it shot all the way up to about 160, so they didn't know anything. I think you're fine with Arch. The problem is if China, coal's China, I mean, 100% is China. Yeah, is Arch a small cap? Let me see. Yeah. I think so. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. 2.6 billion. It's a small cap. Doesn't have a lot of positive momentum right now. Could come back though. Just now? You guys did Oxy just now? Dude, wait till under 60 on Oxy. Yeah. Oxy will be interesting. I'm still holding Oxy. This is what you have to know about Oxy. Look at the weekly. I mean, this is November 2018 when energy was still kind of in favor. You've just come up to those levels. You can see from 2015. I need to collapse that. 2015, 2016. You were up here at 80. And it just kept kind of moving. Didn't move a lot. Then you had this slide in energy, and you're coming back. I am holding it. I am kind of playing the Buffett role. I think under 60 you can sell it. I think over 60 you can just, sell it. But I wouldn't expect the earnings to be something that's going to push it back to the 80 mark. I just think, again, I think this one's a trading one where it's under 60, you buy it. Over 60, you sell it. And I've done that several times. So I like it, but I'm trying to figure out what led you guys to buy it now. Because if I look at even a short term, I'd probably wait for it to hit down near 60, to be honest. I haven't gotten into this one, but, or am I? Hold on. I think I might still be in this one. Let's see. You may have just reminded me that, shit, I've got a stock that is down 3%. And that's all on Devon, by the way. All positions. Let's see. I do have Oxy. My average price is $62. So that's going to be on my radar too. I may buy a little bit more. Because I do think that it's going to get down to that $60 range. But I wouldn't expect it. I would expect it maybe 66 on good earnings. I mean, you looked at Chevron, you looked at Exxon. They didn't pop much and they had great earnings. But if Oxy starts buying back stock and Warren Buffett has moved that one so that he can affect it, I have no doubt in my mind it's going to make money long term. Let's look at Cintas for you, Brian. Cintas, CTAS. You just passed your ex-dividend date. You don't have earnings coming up. I'd be more worried. This gap looks like it was filled here at 427. It's been playing over its 200-day. So I would think that it's still, I mean, this is probably not one that you're going to, a 1% dividend. Year to date, you're down 1.97, but over 1 year, you're up 20%. October 22nd, 463 is the price target. You're almost there. You're only 5% below your 52-week high. A lot of these guys, like Michael, this guy sold $714,000 worth. This guy on January 12th, the executive VP, he sold $6 million worth. Same guy. So he told a total of about $11 million worth at 444. And you're trading at 444. I wouldn't buy it. Too much. Waste Management is WM. I like this stock on pullbacks, and it looks like the pullback has happened. It is expensive, from what I remember. Let's see. Yeah, they have a PE of 28. Their dividend is 1.8. Year to date, down 3%, up 7%. For 1 year, they're 13% below their 52-week high, which they were just overvalued. 138 is the 52-week low. You're only 9% off of that. It's not going to grow. The PE is not justified. It's my thought on Waste Management. I think you're probably closer to going back to the 130s. I wouldn't be shocked if you come down to this level that you were last year in June. There's this double bottom right here at 138. I think if you get this one in the 140, I think you're okay. Wouldn't be too excited about it though, because you're bumping up against a cap of about 180. I just don't see a huge turn on that one. BRCC Corporation. I don't know what this is. Look at that move from 643 to 790. Whew. Your RSI is at 74. Your MACD is way up there. You got earnings coming up February 27th. Let's see. BRCC. They're not making money. Consumer defensive packaged goods. Citigroup in August said $10 price target. You're at 722. Through subsidies, purchases roasts and sells coffee accessories and branded apparel. They have a market cap of $1 billion, so they are a small cap. 26% year to date up. 1 year it's down 48%. So you've really slid, and the reason is you're not making money. These guys need to take out loans, blah, blah, blah. Short interest is 6.3 million shares. They only have, it's about a 10%, 11% short interest. Do you drink their coffee, Chris? That's my first question. Black Rifle Coffee. I've heard of this one. Do you drink their coffee? Their executive team is buying it around the $6 mark, and you're at 772. If you drink their coffee, and if you like their coffee, and you've offered it to other people, and they like their coffee, buy the stock. I mean, their price to sales is 5.72, so it's not a crazy valuation. I do think that it's a little bit expensive. I drink Walmart coffee. Most people who know coffee kind of scold me, but I just buy Walmart coffee. It's not a crazy valuation. What worries me here is this book value, book per share. So this is all intellectual property. So it's a brand. That's all this is a brand. So the actual value of the company is nothing. Now, mind you, they probably don't have production facilities. They probably don't have, they have sales offices, things of that sort, that they don't have real estate, anything of that sort. That's why that book value is only 14 cents. It's 11% short. I mean, 11% of the people think that it's going short. Now, let's see. BRCC, You're looking at $6.43 on the 4-hour algorithm as a buy, which you've done really well on if you got. I think the $6 to $7 range is probably where you want to look at this. Their earnings are coming up, which for a company like this, you know, if they even announced that they made money, I mean, shit, this one could skyrocket. Now, here's, again, you look at this one, I think the $6 range is probably where you buy it. If you like their coffee, the MACD is just shooting up. Right now, I think it's just too expensive. Doesn't mean that it won't go to 10, but in my mind, I think it's just too expensive, and I like it between 6 and 7. It's kind of where I'd be at, Chris. I think there's better places to put your money, but I would probably put an alert to see when it comes back down to the 6 or 7 level. And I think, that's where I heard about them from one of my veteran friends who kind of said, hey, he was supporting the company. Now, mind you, they've only been in existence on the stock market for 2 years. The backtesting goes back 2 years. This is a short-term algorithm that it loses you 14%. I mean, if we just look at the long term, if we just go back to we'll go to a monthly. No, I don't even think a monthly is going to look. A daily probably is the only one for 2 years that is going to give us enough of a look. I mean, it's a SPAC. That's what it is. This came onto the market as a SPAC. You can always tell when it was a SPAC because it's a $10 price point, special purchase acquisition company. So essentially what happened was somebody brought this company public. There is a far lower barrier to entry becoming a SPAC, and they became super popular back after COVID. Because the IPO process was just a little, you could basically get a SPAC out there in a month, 2 months. There was no time to barrier of entry. This is an IPO roadshow. Would take you 6 to 8 months because people were just going IPO so quickly. Nobody wanted to back you. It cost more to go IPO. But you also have a significant higher regulation. So I'd be a little bit careful, but 2 years out from their SPAC, I would say you're probably looking at getting back. If they start turning a profit, you'd be looking to get back to this $10 range. Now, the 200 day is moving down. The 50 day is moving up. What's the best time to get into a stock? It's today. A good stock, I should say. It's today. They're losing money. I'd put a little bit of money into it today. I mean, you're above the 9-day for the first time. You know, February 2nd was the first time you got above that 9-day in quite a while. Since, 2022 last year? Probably look at about a 750. Put it in order for 750. If you get it today, great. If you don't, oh well. I like the company from what I've known about them, but I can't say that from a technical standpoint it makes sense to buy in. It's just, I mean, it's run up a lot. This is funny. GNRC is up $7 today. 5%. You're filling that gap. Was that on a weekly? Let's see. No, I guess there isn't. This is Generac. Interesting one. Oh, let's go back here. Generac. Okay, 10:45. I am out of here. If you guys are still here, hit the thumbs up button. If you guys have any other questions I can answer, let me know. Indices check. Let's see where I'm at. I am up 0.14 today. And that is most likely, Apple's up 0.5%. So I'm making a lot of money. compared to the market. And Devon, I think Devon, if it gets, for those of you that are following me, I think Devon, if it gets to under a 55 handle, I think you buy it today. This is what's interesting. Even the 4-hour had a bullish sentiment into the earnings. And it got you out with a 10% loss. Wow. Again, any reaction in this market is an overreaction. It's trading up. It's got a green candle. Let's see. Okay. I'm out of here.